9/11, an event that blew our minds. It happened almost 9 years ago, yet some nerds are still interested in who did it. Are you?
All of this has to take place within the world of the controlled corporate media, because it's only if you have the propaganda going out that defines the world according to the leaks coming from the moles and such people that you can get people to believe it. So it requires a propaganda orchestration of a very, very high level.
As always, the intelligence community has gone almost immediately to Osama bin Laden as a principal suspect, and we don't know why they have done that.
So basically, the Rockefeller family owns all the oil companies in America. They control the Council on Foreign Relations. Council on Foreign Relations controls the media. The media, man. The establishment. They're brainwashing you.
The year is 1917, and Representative Oscar Callaway enters a disturbing statement into the U.S. Congressional Record. The statement reveals why J.P. Morgan interests hired 12 high-ranking news managers. The 12 were asked to determine the most influential newspapers in America. They were to figure out how many news organizations it would take to control generally the policy of the daily press of the United States. The 12 found it was only necessary to purchase the control of 25 of the greatest papers. An agreement was reached. The policy of the papers was bought, and an editor was placed at each paper to ensure that all published information was in keeping with the new policy. Soon, that policy would be defined by a front group formed by J.P. Morgan and his colleagues. In fact, Morgan's personal attorney was founding president of the organization, the Council on Foreign Relations. Ruling Class Journalists, written by Richard Harwood, describes the CFR membership as the ruling establishment in the United States. The Washington Post article boasted that news reporters who are CFR members do not merely analyze and interpret foreign policy for the United States, they help make it. One of the CFR's strongest media allies is the New York Times. As a major outlet for the establishment viewpoint, the Times has achieved dominant influence over the reporting of national and international news. The Times is relied upon by many editors in the mainstream news media for direction on how to portray world events. In addition, the Times Wire Service retails the establishment line to subsidiary outlets such as broadcast news distributors and regional newspapers. Competition between these outlets rests primarily on the style of regurgitating the same message.
Joseph Goebbels, the propaganda minister of Nazi Germany, once said, "What you want in a media system is ostensible diversity that conceals an actual uniformity." What he meant by that is, give the people an illusion of choice so that they think they're getting the truth. But in reality, the message behind the illusion is always the same.
Osama bin Laden and his sidekick Zawahiri are alleged to be the authors. And it's all based on an organization called Al-Qaeda. And naturally, for all of this, there is no proof. There's hearsay evidence, there are assertions, but there is no proof. And of course, this has been made to stick by years now of propaganda.
We are every day kicking and screaming in the newsroom, trying to get stories out. But we could do a story and it might not make air. You have someone from the corporation making the editorial decisions. These are not journalists.
How come you never once had like a reasonable and rational discussion of the 9/11 conspiracy theories?
Factor follow-up segment tonight. Billionaire businessman Mark Cuban, the owner of the Dallas Mavericks basketball team, is putting up money to distribute a 9/11 conspiracy film, one which says Americans were behind the terror attacks. Actor Charlie Sheen will apparently narrate this opus, and it's awful, you know that. The film is going to be used by American haters all over the world, and decent people should be outraged.
Bill, you do me a favor. On your next Radio Factor, you ask your listeners how many people think 9/11 was an inside job. You won't be able to get through the thousands of phone calls you'll get from people who believe that.
They're marginal nuts.
Well,
They're marginal nuts. How many people think Elvis is still alive? How many people think they faked the landing on the moon? Come on.
I know. We know how vile the theory is, but to say I'll ignore it and hope those people
don't elevate it. You don't elevate it to that status. Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen. Come on.
Rosie O'Donnell, is she mainstream media?
Yeah.
Every day she's got well, listen, she just said this crap this week.
And what happened to her?
Tower 7.
And what happened to her?
People cheered for her. Her audience cheered for her, and people said, boy, Rosie's onto something. Tower 7 fell because we blew it up. I mean, these screwballs are among us, Bill.
Rosie's not going to be on that forum much longer because of what she's doing here.
You know, there was a time in South Africa that people would put flaming tires around people's necks if they dissented. And in some ways, the fear is that you will be necklaced here. You'll have a flaming tire of lack of patriotism put around your neck. Now, it's that fear that keeps journalists from asking the toughest of the tough questions.
William Colby, former CIA director, stated on record that the Central Intelligence Agency owns everyone of any significance in the major media.
Remember, Richard Clarke is the main architect of the myth. On the evening of September 11th, just as World Trade Center 7 was collapsing after 5:20 p.m., Clarke convened a high-level interagency meeting in the Situation Room. Present by video link were Secretary Armitage of the State Department, General Myers of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and other important officials. Clarke's opening statement was the following: okay, we all know this was Al-Qaeda. FBI and CIA will develop the case and see if I'm right. We want the truth, but in the meantime, let's go on the assumption that it's Al-Qaeda. What's next? Well, he was leaking that to CNN and all of the networks all during the day, and that is the origin of the attribution.
Muhanna bala hala bala alama bakmana bakmana snamakara akra pra pde makma akni tokama kimasmara bakamara bachma kara bala nara bachma barakna. To any English-speaking infidels watching this, I just wanted to say that I'm still alive and it's very scary. I said I'd release a video for the 6th anniversary, and I'm a man of my words. If you think this is a fake, you're completely crazy. Probably one of those crazy conspiracy theorists your President Bush warns you about. You can't fake videos.
It's a sobering fact that the hidden power structure of international finance,
The Rockefellers, the family that's accused of having foreknowledge of 9/11,
has exerted tremendous influence over public opinion in this country through its virtual control of higher education and major segments of mass communications. The human mind is like a computer. No matter how efficient it may be, its reliability is only as great as the information fed into it. If it is possible to control the input of the human mind, then no matter how intelligent a person may be, it's entirely possible to program what he will think. And yes, it's even possible to program people to laugh at the mere mention of the word conspiracy.
There are indications we may not have been told the truth about what happened on September 11, 2001.